Hey, you guys. I never know what I'm going to look like on here, and I'm always having to adjust my stupid hair. And I'm having to adjust it again. I'm on the other side of my sewing room. Move this around a bit so you can see a little bit more of various things. This morning, for me, this has really been one of those mornings where I saw something right away and I was very, very triggered. I guess it's because I've been thinking about abusive men, hey, dances in the rain, and the stuff they do. And we all know the stuff they do. The stuff they do is bad. Hey, Jan. The thing with these guys is many of them seek control over women. That's really their big thing. They want to control women. And this piece that I was reading this morning, hey, Kira, it involves negging, but in a very subtle way. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because if you aren't used to things like this, hey, Claire, you're going to be going, oh my word. And let me just say up front, this is only my opinion. I'm also going to ask you to do all those YouTubey things and subscribe, like, whatever. So my opinion is that this article about Kanye West and his new girlfriend, there are some reasons to be concerned. There's some red flags, not because of anything Kanye said. And let me just throw this out there. Hey, T King, Kanye may or may not be mentally ill. I don't know. There are some concerning things about him, but I'm going to say that a lot of people who are creative tend to have certain types of mental conditions. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not really sure why that would be, why that would affect creativity so much, but it seems to do that. So it is there. And Kanye has definitely had his struggles. I have nothing but wishing him well. So he has a new girlfriend named Julia Fox, and she talked to a reporter the other day about relationship labels, style influence, and Kim Kardashian comparisons. I wish I'd have done a screen cap of this photo, but it's a Getty photo, and I don't want to get in trouble with Getty for violating their. Okay, what the heck? What the heck? What the heck is going on? Am I here? Okay. I don't want to violate their copyright. We need to talk about copyright law at some point too, because we got somebody who's making all kinds of crazy copyright claims. When I worked with Pathos, I used to have to deal with copyright and not violating people's copyright. And it could be tricky. So anyway, this picture of Julia Fox is with Kanye. She's wearing a jean jacket, and she's got what looks like Madonna cones made out of jean coming out with little fringe or something. And I'm looking at this going, okay, this is really bizarre. And you're claiming that he's making you better. So that's her claim, that Kanye is making her be a better her. And she's claiming that about Kim Kardashian, about herself, about any other person involved with Kanye. I have to tell you something. That is a huge, huge red flag. What do I mean? Okay, if you have a man that is telling you that he is going to make you a better you, or you need to do X, Y, Z, whatever to make you a better you, guess what? He is nagging you. He is not trying to make you a better you. Hey, Amanda, he is only trying to control you. This is no different than any other patriarchal trick. I've often said that these good patriarchs are no different than they're no different than pickup artists. They have all the same techniques. Negging is a huge thing in patriarchy. It's a huge thing when it comes to pickup artists and guys that want to get over on you, that want to control you. They use these techniques. And I mean, that's pretty sick and sad, in my opinion. Don't they have anything better to do? Now, why would a guy neg you and try to make you feel worse about yourself? Well, for a couple of reasons besides control. A lot of these guys don't have the best idea of who it is they actually are. So when they do these things, they are actually making themselves feel better. It's a build-up technique. They're great con men. Yes, that's the other thing. They're building themselves up from their very poor self-esteem. It's also, as you just noted, it's a con man technique to control you. If they can control you and everything you do, then they don't have to work as hard. Then they can just use the techniques of pretending that it's for your own good to make you to do exactly what it is they want. Let me tell you something. You are perfectly fine the way you are. You don't have to wait for some guy to say, I'm going to make you better. This is also a technique used by very wealthy men. And I'm even talking about wealthy men who are not famous in any way, shape, or form. One of the things that I learned early in my dating years is that wealthy men will make you earn every penny of their money that they are willing to spend on you. They will make you earn it in the worst ways possible. They will do everything under the sun to neg you. I remember dating this guy back in the Jurassic age of dating. It was quite wealthy. He owned an oil field supply company, Louisiana. Pretty well off guy, a lot older than me. He was British, wonderful accent, wonderful Liverpoolian accent. And he nagged me left and right all day long the whole time we were dating until finally I was just like flipping the double birds and flying the hell out of there. That for me was like I actually told my friends, I said, I'm going to date the next average guy that comes around and asks me out. The next average guy, I don't care if he's a garbage man. I don't care what he is. I'm going to totally erase that script in my mind that my mother implanted. My mother said it's just as easy to marry a wealthy man as it is a poor one. And after my divorce, I took that to heart, and it was a huge disaster. It was all these, yeah, it's so gross to think about, but they do that stuff. And this guy just tried to manipulate the hell out of me until finally, like I said, my rebellious self was flipping double birds and flying out of there. He did try to get with me later. It was kind of like, oh no, you had your shot, buddy. You just screwed yourself. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Sienna. So guess who I met right after that? My dear husband, who was working at a convenience store when I met him right before going into the military. He had an MBA, but he was working at a convenience store, just killing time before he went into the military. And turned out that decision to date the first average guy that asked me out was the best decision I ever made. And, I've told Claire this. I said, I've kissed a million guys at Mardi Gras. Well, guess what? I've probably been on a million bad first dates too. I've been on so many bad dates that for a while I actually had a website that was Dates from Hell, where people could list their dates from hell. I had my own listed. It's been some years, early beginnings of the internet that I had that, but it's down now. But I'm reading through this with this poor Fox lady, and she is just saying about how he's stepped up her style. People are criticizing her for looking like Kim Kardashian. Hey, Pink Nana, saying that it is not her looking like Kim Kardashian. It's him molding everybody to look like what he thinks fashionable should look like and what he thinks fashionable is. Get out of here with that noise. If you want to dress however you want to dress, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine for your significant other to have something they like you to wear, a favorite outfit, but it has to be something that you yourself like. I think especially when you're younger, you are more, I don't want to say gullible, but you're more likely to put up with that nonsense as when you get older and you're kind of like, oh, hell no. I dated the first year after my divorce. I'll skip the pain for now. Oh, Cheryl, I can't even imagine it. I've already said, as much as I love my husband, as happy as I am with him, if he were to pass away or dump me for the newest model, you know what? I would just be done with dating and men and the whole 9 yards. It just doesn't appeal to me at this point in my life. I'd rather have good books, good company, good cats. My guy is an engineer and he just doesn't have room in his brain to play games. I've appreciated that so much over the years. Amanda, my husband doesn't have the guile that it takes. He is utterly honest about everything. And that's awesome because I know I can go to him and say, hey, does this dress make my ass look big? Not like anything would ever make my ass look small. My ass is big. And he'll be honest. He'll tell me, yeah, it looks fine. Or he'll say, oh my God, you look like a Mack truck. And it's not a negging thing. It's an honesty thing with him. I've just known him too many years now. He turns to me if he needs honest opinions and things, like this recent interesting thing going on with the Nicaraguan mission trip he was going on. He turned to me and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I gave him my honest opinion. We have that kind of relationship. There are no games. It's just honest opinions. Now, I do know which buttons to push if I have to get him to do something. Last night, I was trying to talk to a girlfriend of mine who was insisting, you got to get your husband to get the COVID booster. He's got to have it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I kept telling her, it's like, don't worry about it. I know what I need to do to make that happen. And it's not a matter of game playing. It's a matter of knowing where to put the appeal and what the appeal needs to be. So a double hell no. Yeah, you just do not play those games. You don't manipulate. If you have an honest relationship with someone and they value your opinion and you value their opinion, you don't have to play those games. And it's just a lot easier. You're home today, cleaning house. Oh, what did you miss was me ranting about Kanye, this girl that's dating Kanye West, talking about all these ways he's improving her. And I'm pointing out that when guys do that, it is frequently a control technique and a negging. It has nothing to do with what and who you really are. You're not broken. You're not wrong. You're not whatever. It's on them. They're trying to control you. And it's just like patriarchy. They do that same nonsense. Look at all the hoops that women have to jump through in patriarchy to be a good Christian woman. Yeah, Cheryl, and sometimes that truth is not pleasant. I got to admit something here from 2 days ago. We're on Wednesday now? He's off teaching. Monday, he was off teaching, and I did a video and went outside. I went to go swimming, and I went to his computer, which is sitting by the door, to hit one of my playlists from YouTube to pipe it outside to the outside speakers, because we've got a speaker system here where you can send your music anywhere in the house. So I was setting the music outside so I could swim and listen to music. Well, he had a glass of water sitting next to the computer, half a glass. And behind his computer is the cat bed. So the cat bed started to slip while I was doing this. I reached over to grab it, and when I did, I knocked the water all into the keyboard of his laptop. And I grabbed the laptop up and do all the stuff you do when you spill something on it and left it to dry. And when he came home, gameplay in me would have said, I don't know what happened to your computer. But because we have that kind of relationship, I said, I'm sorry, I knocked a glass of water into your laptop. What were you doing with a glass of water right next to the laptop? Well, I didn't even say that because he knows. I've talked about it. I mean, even my drinks, I don't keep them right next to the laptop. I keep them far enough away where if they get spilled, they don't go anywhere near a laptop. I've had to buy new laptops because I'm too stupid to put a lid on my drinks. So he told me he appreciated that. And thankfully, the laptop was perfectly fine because of my quick action to take it up. But a game player would have done something different. A woman cringing would have done something very different, would have set it up to look like it was something the cats had done. No, we don't do that. We come right out with what the truth is. The truth can be unpleasant, but it is the truth. The truth is the truth is the truth. It's just one of those things. And if you don't have truth in your relationship, you don't even have a relationship worth having, in my opinion. I mean, but I've been in the bad relationships to good relationships. So being able to say what is the truth is actually a big thing for me. It's what I carried away from various relationships. Yeah, you can count on it, and that's pleasant. You're exactly right. So back to Kanye. Like I said, he's very creative, and a lot of creative people do have mental conditions. But when you start saying things like, I'm going to help you be your best, I'm going to make your fashion sense better, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it is a type of game plan and control. Life is too short for me to play games. I love the fact my husband is honest with me. Same. Hey, Cheryl P. So there it is. Now, let me pull up some interesting little quotes from this thing that I just chuckled over when I read the article after I got over that crazy jean jacket she had on. She said she was comfortable and confident in her relationship, and she wasn't jealous of Kim Kardashian, even though Kardashian, even though he was still actively trying to rekindle things with Kim Kardashian. Call her daddy podcast. She said they call each other boyfriend, girlfriend, and was unthreatened by Kim, which I guess is good. If you're going to date somebody who's been previously married, it's a good thing to be good with their relationships. As for the comments that West had been slowly morphing Fox into a doppelganger of Kardashian, upgrading and tweaking her style, as some see it, to help her more resemble the reality star, Fox says she doesn't see it that way at all. We've worn some of the similar looks, which I knew at the time of wearing them. I knew that Kim had worn it previously, but I thought it was cool that she had worn it. Lamenting that some women are always pitted against each other. Look, being pitted woman to woman is not a good thing. It sucks. I mean, we've seen this in our community. We've seen women that are pitted against each other for looks, women who are pitted against each other for all kinds of stupid reasons that don't have anything to do with reality or for some game plan reason. And, you know, that blows my mind because I think as women, we need to support each other, even each other's choices that maybe are not our own choices. And I say that as someone who's been picking at somebody for their verbiage recently. This poor girl doesn't have a clue. No, she doesn't have a clue, and she's young. That's the thing. I think because she's young and she's dazzled by his, hey, nitwit, by his fame, I think that we're seeing that play out. Like I said, been there, done that. Not with a famous guy, but with a rich guy. I will take that back. I did date an NFL player for a while. And it was a very short-lived relationship, just like mine with the wealthy guy who owned the pipeline company. Why? Because even then I had no intention to ever play games, and I was stubborn as hell and wasn't going to put up with much from anyone. I'm watching now. Oh, thank you. This is one of my favorite dresses. Unfortunately, I've already ripped it, and it's only about a week old. I replaced all of my clothing with loose beach dresses because that's how I roll living here. It's just too hot to actually wear clothing. So I'm wearing now the least amount of clothing I can legally get away with in Costa Rica without having people run down the streets going, ah! How old is Kanye? Mid 30s, late 30s? I'm thinking late 30s. Let me go back to the article and see if they gave any kind of on ages because I'm not really sure. You know, he was with Kim, what, about 10 years maybe? Something like that. Let's go back up and see if they, nope. this young lady, I would say he is 30, circling 40, and she looks like she's somewhere in her 20s, maybe early 30s. So there is going to be an age gap, and that's not necessarily a bad thing in relationships. That's not a bad thing, but it can be a power imbalance I've talked about before. Your personal power, his, it can be, and that can cause some problems. 45, she's 32. Yeah. I kind of figured that. I figured he had to be at least 40, early 30s or 40. No, Christoph, they're not here today. They were here yesterday. And that's another reason why I'm in my sewing room. I cannot bear to look at the horrifying mess they made in the front yard in front of my window. They've hauled out all of the plants and bushes, and yesterday they broke a water line that had to be repaired. I was just all kinds of stuff. They're almost done, thank God. And after they're done, tomorrow I'm going straight to the plant nursery and replacing everything out front. So in some ways it was good because this gives me the ability to put in the kind of bushes and plants I wanted, the orchid bush, the orchid plant. Yes, she's infatuated right now and seems like he's taking full advantage. Amanda, that's how I'm reading what's going on. He has a type, and he tries to fit everyone to the type, Kim Kardashian or not. Does anybody remember when Kardashian, she wore this maternity outfit that looked like sofa upholstery fabric? I was really horrified that she would wear that because before Kanye, she would make some decent fashion choices. During her relationship with him, I had to question some of her choices, and I know that she was probably dressing to make him happy. She has a 1-year-old baby. They fixed the stuff, Christoph Van, but I don't want them doing any of the landscaping, and I've got a reason for that. I'll tell you. The landscape, when they last ever they did landscaping, these same guys, they completely screwed up my backyard, and I'm still trying to correct it. They cut all of the ginger bushes way too far back. One of them died. They cut the starfruit tree so far back that it almost died. They cut so many things so far back, and then they planted all this native stuff, which is fine, but I didn't ask for them to do that. I just asked for a slight trim in the backyard. I wanted them to neaten things up, and they just butchered it. So this time, I don't want them anywhere near my bushes. My husband loves using this guy, and I've already said we are not using him ever again for another damn thing ever in this house. So that's a thing that I have to deal with here, which kind of fits with this. Men here, guys who are doing repair work or landscaping, guess what happens when they run against a woman's opinion? Can you guess? This is a very patriarchal society. They completely disregard your opinion. I've had 3 or 4 gardeners here that have just been horrific because I've said, hey, no, don't do that. I want this instead. And they just said, no, and done what they wanted. Sometimes it's worked out. One of them went and bought these bushes after I told him I didn't want the bushes in, that they were the wrong bushes to firm out our, where we have bushes around one of the sidewalks. They were the wrong bushes, and I was able to get them all fixed in somewhere else. Turned out I was able to use them. So it worked out, but it's been hard. They don't want your opinion at all. So this fits with these guys. And even though it's your property and you're telling them, hey, I want this, and they're not doing it. So I'm going to have to go back to doing a lot of the gardening, which is what I used to do in New Virginia. I live in New England, but I'm always wicked hot. And about a year ago, I moved to maxi skirts and maxi dresses. I've also started wearing thin merino wool leggings and t-shirts. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And it's amazing if you can get stuff that's in natural temps like wool. The wool helps me regulate my temperature better, and I don't feel sweaty and gross. Yeah, I have a silk mattress pad. And when we lived in Virginia, I had a feather cover for the waterbed, and I had a wool pad. I put it on in winter, and we stayed warm, we stayed cool. Nobody got all sweaty or gross. So those things actually really work well. They nod in a placating way and do their own thing. That's exactly right. That's exactly what they do. And I'm kind of done with that. I'm too old to be putting up with that. It's like, nope, you're not cutting my ginger so far back they don't exist any longer. Hey, that Amber chick. So I remember when your painters weren't listening to you on color choices. Yes, and I was yelling at them. And we ended up not using them. Now, this guy has wanted to paint the sidewalks the same yellow that's on the windows here. I love it in the bedroom. We have a darker but similar shade outside. But you do not paint concrete walkways and patios and pool deck this color. I said, no, I want white. I want knock your eyeballs out blazing white. I just do. The youngest babies by a surrogate. Yes, I remember reading about that. So that's really one of the problems that I've had with these guys. Yellow sidewalks, yeah. And it goes back to the whole patriarchal thing. So a lot of times what I'll do now is I'll tell my husband, I'll say, hey, this needs to happen. I don't want that. If they do that, I'm going to go out there and yell at them. And then I'm going to come yell at you for letting them do it. So that seems to be the only way that really works here for dealing with these guys, because they have these crazy patriarchal attitudes. I can't imagine dating anybody here. You think Kanye West is bad? I'm sure that these guys are awful. The only thing that I can say that's positive about this patriarchal society as far as male-female relationships is when you get divorced from a Costa Rican in Costa Rican courts, they always favor the mother. Always, always, always. And they don't leave you without support. That I am fully down with, because I've known too many people in the past, here, there, everywhere, that tried to welch out on their responsibilities after they owe you for child support. I've just seen it over and over and over again, and it's just wrong. In a just, sane, and equitable society, the main breadwinner would not leave the person making the less wages without any kind of support. Now, if this was a perfect society and women were making the same wages as men, this wouldn't even be necessary. But because the whole world is still not on board, what can we do? What can we do? You know, somebody without a box of Kleenex has been carrying on the last couple of days about feminism. And I've heard others recently speak about feminism. And here's the thing. I'm on a rant. And this goes double for Kanye and his girlfriends or future wives or whatever you want to call them. If women are allowed an equal role in everything and thought of equally and have equal rights, chances are a lot of this stuff would just disappear, or it would lessen. It has already lessened a great deal. I was thinking about this last night while I was watching Mad Men, which, you know, is a representation of what life is like in the early 60s through the late 60s. And I can remember a lot of these things. My daughter watched it with me one time and said, it really wasn't like that, was it? Yes. I remember when women couldn't even have bank accounts by themselves, any of that. Oh my gosh, going after Candace Owens is not a good look for her, in my humble opinion. It is definitely not a good look. It's a bad look. And speaking about feminism, she has no earthly clue. Exactly, that Amber chick. She has no earthly clue, and she's not the only one. I keep hearing women speaking about feminism, some in the churches and some not, that don't have a clue. What is feminism? Feminism is women having the same rights, opportunities, pay as men. That is it, 100%. It's not putting down men. It's lifting women up. Anything, it's that. It's ending sexism. It's ending remarks like, oh, you can't possibly have a brain, you got big boobs, or talking about women being silly, or putting any kind of emotional thing on women. I keep reading about how women can't handle things because they're more emotional, they're more sensitive. Dude, not at all. Women do the tough things in life. They need to be allowed to do that. Yeah, I saw she was going after Candace Owens and Joe Rogan. I am not a Joe Rogan fan. I'm just going to throw that out there, but it has nothing to do with the recent things he said. He's just confirmed to me that he's not a very nice guy. He used to do a lot of announcing for UFC, and I heard what he was saying in those times my husband was watching UFC enough to form an opinion that he wasn't a nice guy and that he definitely had some issues. So my dislike goes all the way back then. My boyfriend, mid 50s, moved to the US from Portugal when he was 3. He grew up with seriously patriarchal parents. He versus progressive, considered consumption, very progressive. Okay. You do have to call them out occasionally. I have to do that occasionally with my husband, who was raised in the kind of family where mom stayed home, dad earned the big bucks, even though they were both college professors. She needs to stay in her lane. Someone called her a slacktivist, and I thought it was funny. She is a slacktivist. She doesn't do anything real that will help anyone really struggling at all. I'm no Joe Rogan fan either. He looks a little douchey for me. Yeah, I remember his douchiness with the UFC too. That's what turned me off to him and why I have nothing to do with him. Brenda Lee, all you can do is point him to the way. I mean, that's all you can do. I sometimes have to tell my husband that. Our daughter is getting married, our youngest, and we're having conversations about weddings and who pays for what and what the traditions are. Hey, and guess what? If I can turn around and show you this, I'm going to turn this. I'm going to turn this. You have to see this. You have to see this. We have somebody watching us, and you're going to get a kick once you see who it is that is watching us, if it will show. Let me see. That is a monkey who is looking in, watching us doing a stream. Oh my word. What a day. What a day. What a day. So there's that. Monkeys galore. So I'm stuck. Hey, you looking at me. What do you think I'm doing? Oh, you like looking in and watching me sew and stuff. So that's really the funniest thing for me. And now he is trying to reach out to the window. Okay. It's one of the things I love about living here. You never know when you're going to have a monkey peeking into your window and trying to look and see what you're doing. Oh, yeah, I see you got white hanging balls. That's a male. I don't know what the males are doing looking in the window. Most of the time, it's the females that will show up and look in the window and they're like talking to you. So I don't know. Here we go. We're being judged by monkeys. Male monkey at that, instead of the little females with their little women aren't supposed to tear each other down. It doesn't help women trying to escape the IBLP. I know of 2 different groups that help women escape the IBLP that have had to shut down operations temporarily because of the things that have been said by without a box of Kleenex. They are curious creatures. And the thing is, I guess after we've been here 1 month shy of 4 years, and I think that by now they figured out that Jim and I, that we're very laid back. We're old, we move slow, we're out there in that pool moving slow, and he's back again. And we're no kind of a threat. And as far as men, I still have to remind Jim not to have those attitudes too, particularly when we're doing things like right now, we're doing this wedding stuff. They didn't always do that. That's a newer thing. That is a newer thing. Last 2 years, they've started to do that more and more. The monkeys come down, the females with the babies come down and stay in our strangler fig below our fence line. So they're very protected to take their naps. Usually every couple of days I'll see them. And like I said, I think it's because we're old and we're no threat and we move slowly. So that, that, but even with monkeys, I'm just going to have to point this out. Howler monkeys, the smaller the balls, the louder the monkey. I don't know why that is. It's always the male monkeys are the ones that make that horrible hooting, howling noise. The females don't do that at all. You'll hear them make little cooing noises sometimes, but they don't holler. And the ones that holler the loudest have the smallest balls. Science has said that. They've studied that. And I think hey, Villanova, I think there's some, oh, I think that's kind of representative to some things that go on in the patriarchal community with these guys. The ones that yell the loudest about women and that say that women are defrauding them, or women are lesser, women have emotions, women are X, Y, and Z. They are the human equivalent of the monkeys with the tinier balls. They just are. And a lot of them, I was thinking about this yesterday, because the ones that howl the loudest about things and are carrying on and you're having the hardest time with, they are usually the guys that are hyper masculine. They're the ones that are worried about their masculinity all the time. They're doing all this stupid stuff. You know, I love the Righteous Gemstones, and I'm getting the hugest kick out of the Kelvin Gemstones God Squad. They're all these pumped up guys. You're watching Kelvin. There's all this homoerotic kind of subcontext going on. It's like, dude, just come out of the closet. Nobody would judge you these days. So a lot of the guys that I've seen, especially in my years of covering the Quiverful movement, guys like Doug Wilson, Tim Bailey, they tend to be focused on this hyper masculinity that has nothing to do with real life and just makes them look like douchebags. That's it. I swear, YouTube is going to demonetize this, and I'm just as happy for them to do it, because this is too important. We can't pussyfoot around. We have to call these guys out. It's just a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous notion. And here comes my cat. And it is what it is. Come here. I got to show you this guy, because you will almost never see him. This is Dinky. We've had him 5 years. And there goes the howlers. And I'm not shoving him. I had somebody today that showed up on one of my videos, an older video, and accused me of shoving one of my cats, and told me I was a cat abuser. I kind of laughed. My cats are horribly spoiled by both of us. Monkeys have the Napoleon complex always, just like a lot of men, and it has nothing to do with shortness. So those guys just make me laugh, because men who are hyper masculine like that and try to be hyper masculine they're just pathetically funny. They're just virtue signaling over something that isn't even a thing. That if they were actually feminist and they thought women were equals to them in every way, it wouldn't even be an issue. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go. The monkey is coming back and he's looking at my cat now. I really think they come to look at the cat to see what the cat's doing. Not so much us, even though he did come today to see what we were doing in here, which really makes me laugh. They're very puzzled by my sewing. I've got my 2 sew machines set up here. I got my Bernina, I got my Singer, and I got things to repair today. Okay, you guys, have a great day. Don't let the guys in this world treat you like trash, because you are so much better than that. You are everybody as good as them in every single way. They just don't realize it yet. Eventually, they're going to have to and admit it. I'll see you guys later.